All right, let's check the framing here. Check the lighting, check the focus. Looks good. All right, sports fans, what's up? This is going to be a video about how to make a short film by yourself. That means no crew, no actors, just you. Now, I already made a video kind of like this. It was called How to Make a Short Film Alone. And I had a lot of haters in the comments saying, you didn't have a crew, but you had actors. That's not really alone. Well, okay, fine. Now you're gonna see me make a short film completely alone. I'm gonna act in it, I'm gonna direct it, I'm gonna shoot it. And on top of that, I'm going to record myself making a short film alone. So this is like some Inception 2-level deep shit. Now I'm actually already mic'd up here. I've got the camera set up as well. So the first thing I gotta do is to get into wardrobe, and I'm in wardrobe. Now this short film is gonna be about a guy who's at home by himself, trying to work out, and it doesn't go quite as planned, and I'll be showing you how to film yourself as we make this film.
And while I'm making that short film, I'm going to be demonstrating some other techniques and methods and tips to film yourself. It's kind of hard to figure out how to set this up, how to teach how to film yourself while filming yourself and filming yourself.
And we're rolling. Let's check the framing here. I think I'm just gonna walk into frame, stop at this mark, which will be right about here. That looks nice. What's my eye line gonna be? Let's say my eye line's right there. I'm gonna cheat it a little bit just because the lighting is better.
Let's talk about monitoring. You'll notice that when I film the short film out in the yard there, I'm using my iPad as my monitor. The way I'm doing that is with this Mars 400S Pro video transmitter from Hollyland. I have my receiver plugged into just my Atomos Ninja 5, and this is a great little director's monitor. But I personally am not a big fan of doing a wireless setup like this, even if I did have the cage for it, because look at all these big batteries I have to put on it. And there's more elegant ways to do it. You could have one big, V-mount battery maybe running the whole thing, but it's just a real chunky setup. So here's what I recommend doing. If I just take my iPad here and open up the Hollyland app, all I gotta do is plug in the last 7 digits of the serial number for the device, which is on the side of it. And then I have to connect to the Wi-Fi that it's on, and boom. I've got the same thing on my iPad that I have here on my Atomos monitor. You can really take advantage of all the controls that they have here. So if I wanted to magnify the image, I can easily check, make sure that I'm in focus. It's just a lot easier to see on the iPad versus a smaller screen like your phone. They've also got focus peaking, they've got a histogram, they've got a waveform. But the cool thing is, look, I can run both of these simultaneously, no problem, and I can even add other devices. So I couldn't use this as my wireless monitor when I was filming the short film because this was my BTS camera for filming myself. But ordinarily, if I'm filming myself, this is gonna be my monitor because I just always have it in my pocket. It's so easy to put myself in the frame, pull out my phone, check the framing, put it back in my pocket, I'm ready to start recording.
I'm trying to work quick because the sun is going down very fast. So let's get a couple of nice shots with the sun using just a notepad as a marker. Here we go. Not sure if I got it. Let's just do a series. It's best to do a series of these shots if you can. Because if you stop and start every time, it just takes more time. So here we go. Yeah, one of those.
As just a director's monitor, this Hollyland unit is my preferred device. However, if I'm gonna be filming myself like we're doing today, there's actually an easier method that doesn't require any extra money depending on what camera you have. So a lot of cameras like this Panasonic G9 here have built-in Wi-Fi that lets you control the camera with your phone, your iPad, whatever you want. Let me just get this in focus here. This is the iPhone app for the Lumix. And as you'll see, it gives me control over the shutter speed. I can change that. I can change the ISO. So definitely look at your camera's manual. See if your camera has these Wi-Fi controls like that. It's a very handy feature that you can really take advantage of if you're going to be filming yourself. But can't you say, I'm filming on my iPhone. How am I going to film myself? Well, there's a solution for that too. They do make HDMI adapters, so you could just plug that into this, have a little dongle coming out, and then you'll be able to use a monitor over HDMI like that. But if you happen to have an Apple Watch, this is the perfect director's monitor for making a film on your iPhone because, check this out, they have a camera monitor app on the watch. So you can see exactly what you're recording and start and stop recording just like that. Obviously, it doesn't get any easier when you're filming yourself because as long as your character in your film is wearing an Apple Watch, you're good to go. But what if you're filming on an iPhone and you don't even have an Apple Watch? Then what do you do, right? Well, here's something I've actually done in the past. Just use one of these. Get your angle right. Get into frame. Voila. It's not great, but you can actually check your framing and make sure that you're landing in the right spot. So, pretty useful. And guess what, guys? If you don't have any of those tools, there's still another way you can monitor yourself, and you're not gonna find this anywhere else on YouTube. Check this out. Got my camera here, looking into it. I just flip the screen out. Check this out. Turn it around. That's me in the little square there. I can see myself while I'm filming myself. That's me. So that's all I got for monitoring. Let's check in on how this short film is going. Here's what we're dealing with. So you see I'm kind of looking up at the bar. I like the little spatter of light up on the roof there, which will probably disappear in about 5 minutes. All right, let's just roll on it. Here we go. All right, that's gonna have to work. Let's say that's a cut. All right, let's talk audio when you're filming yourself. Now for this short film, I'm using my wireless 7 rims mics. There's a ton of different versions of this kind of setup. I've got the DJI mic here, these are great. But if you can't afford the wireless mics, another option is what I used to do, which is simply getting a really long lav mic, hooking that up inside your shirt, running the cord down your shirt out of frame directly to your camera. That way you're not going to have to buy a whole wireless mic system. You can get these really cheap. The downside, of course, is look at this disgusting mess. I'm never gonna untangle this, ever. That's why I got the wireless mics. And if you want a bunch more tips on how to film yourself and get good audio, check out my recording cinematic audio on a budget video here on this channel. Tons of great tips, especially if you're gonna use a boom mic, for example. Don't miss it. But one thing that I want to emphasize is that if you're filming yourself, get some good headphones, plug them in and just be willing to run back and check your audio playback every few takes or so, just to make sure that nothing got messed up, especially with these wireless mics. There's all kinds of interference, rustling, the microphone can slip out into a weird position, so you're gonna wanna be checking that throughout your shoot. That's why when I did the short film, I just had those Apple earbuds just wrapped around the back of my camera, so that whenever I wanted to check playback, I could just throw them in real quick, make sure everything was good, move on to the next shot. So now I think we need a shot that's the character's POV as he looks down here and sees the heavyweights, and that'll give us a little cut point to use for this moment. I think I have the 10. A shot, so it would have to be... Now we're gonna do the part where I lift the weights, and I actually wanted to go to a prop rental place and rent some fake barbell weights, which would let me put a bunch of weight on here. But since I didn't have time to do it, just going to use real weights and try to get this in one take because I'm really not in that great a shape. So wish me luck. A squirrel. Okay, that should work, I hope. Okay, now I want to get a wide shot of the bar slamming down into my chest, and ideally I want my flip-flops to kick off my feet as my legs fly up over me. Now, this shot could potentially be a little dangerous, and I don't recommend filming this kind of thing on our own. I'm not exactly sure how strong I am right now. Hopefully I'll be able to safely kick my flip-flops off in this shot. We'll see. Okay, here we go. Actually, you know what? My girlfriend's home. I'm gonna get her to... No, can't do that. I wouldn't be alone. Okay, I think I got it. Lighting and focus. These two things are gonna be really tough when you're filming yourself, just because you're not gonna be able to see in real time quite as easily what you're doing. So here are my recommendations for that. For focus, you don't want to be walking in and out of your shots and changing the distance between you and the camera too much unless you're using a really wide lens. The reason is that your focus marks are going to change and you just don't have the ability to manually refocus a shot in the middle of a shot if you're in the film. For me, I would only do lateral or parallel moves to the camera where I'm not changing really the distance from me to the camera, you know what I mean? So the difference would be going here to here, I'm in a straight line, same distance from the camera, versus here to here, I'm gonna be out of focus now. So if you are like me and you're using a camera that doesn't have a reliable autofocus, you're going to want some of this. This is just tape, and what you'll do is tear off a piece and put it on the ground and make marks so you know where to stand, so that you'll be in focus for every shot. And then of course there's lighting, and lighting can be very annoying and difficult when you're filming on your own. Now in this short film shoot, I'm using this Lux CEO kind of quasar light. It's a LED light tube. And the great thing about this is it's portable, it's completely battery powered, so I don't have to worry about plugging in a bunch of things. And the great thing about this is that it has a remote, so I can just hit it, turn it on, and then when I'm in the frame, I can reference my monitor here and say, oh, I need more light, and just use this remote to dial it up until it's as bright as I want it to be, or change the color, or whatever I need to do. And if you don't have any film specific lights, if you're just working with what you can find, if you happen to have any, say, Philips Hue lights or any other smart light bulbs, you can control those with your phone, and it makes life a lot easier than running back and forth to turn the lights on and off, dim them up, down, change the color, temperature, whatever. And another way to get your lighting and focus right, even if you don't have a director's monitor set up, is to just use a simple light stand. Get it in the position of where you're gonna be standing when you're ready to do the shot. And then you would put something on the light stand that looks kind of like you to represent you, and then you'll be able to sit right behind the camera and change all your settings, dial in your lighting, get your focus right, without having to actually be in the shot. So this is basically your stand-in actor for yourself. I know what you're thinking, which one's the real one, right?
Okay, so this is like a dramatic climactic shot, and since the sun has gone down, there's just no good lighting out here, but it's a close-up, so I'm gonna try to recreate a little bit of sunlight hitting the back of my face with this guy. Last looks. Check the focus here, a little soft. Okay, and here we go. Sun is really going down. Let's get this thing. Okay. Okay. All right. I think we're good here. Okay, so we got that. It's dusk now, sun's way down. There is one more shot I wanted to get before the finale shot, which can be done when it's completely dark out. But I was thinking it'd be great to have an extreme close-up of my eyes, squinting with some sweat on my face to cut into. Even if the sweat's gone in the next shot, it might just be funny to cut into a super intense close-up like that, so I'm gonna grab that. Great framing. Okay. Okay, I think we got enough.
Real quick, let's talk about camera movement when you're filming yourself in a short film. Now, camera movement is obviously going to be very limited unless you're picking up a shot that you're not actually in. So for example, if you were going to get an insert shot, say of this mug, and you weren't in the shot, then it would be very easy to just set it down, get behind the camera, manipulate it, do a little pan across, up, down, whatever. And that's how you could get some movement in your short, which is great if you can do it. But outside of that, if you want to get camera movement in a shot that you're actually in, then you're going to need to use some motorized electric options. For example, if you have a DJI Ronin gimbal or similar, like a Zhiyun crane or whatever, they have pre-programmed things that you can put in there to pan or tilt the camera certain ways. And some of them even have auto tracking features, which will literally follow you as you move across the room. Pretty cool and very handy to do if you happen to have those tools. And if you don't have a gimbal, there's also those Edelkrone type devices that have motorized automated movements that you can do as well, but they're really expensive and they're kind of specialized. So the gimbal is going to give you more versatility for a better price if this is the kind of thing that you think you're going to be doing a lot. All right, so I've got this light up here giving me just a real quick fill light here. Camera's just looking straight ahead, and if I can get under these weights, I will be good to go to get this final shot.
Ooh. Oh, God.
And let's talk a little bit about how to direct yourself. This is really hard to do, and one of the reasons why I'm always scared to record myself in any kind of narrative project is that I feel like I need the safety nest of a director behind a camera to tell me if I look completely stupid on camera. So the way around that is to just prepare yourself for watching a lot of playback. I'll do a take, I'll run behind the camera, take a quick look at how it went, acknowledge that I look stupid, run back in front of the camera, do it again, and that just kind of goes on and on throughout the day, as you'll see in the behind the scenes footage over here. And in going with that, don't feel like you need to stop between every take. If I'm filming myself, I'll usually do it in a series, which means I just let the camera keep rolling, and I'll do 1, 2, 3 takes in a row, and then I'll stop it, and then I'll look at playback maybe of all 3. Just streamlines the whole process when you're by yourself. One of the advantages that you have filming yourself is that time is on your side. You don't have to necessarily work super fast, especially if you're filming just in your own home or your backyard or somewhere right around you. You can take as long as you want to film. You can go back the next day or the next day or the next week until you get it right exactly the way you want it to. So take advantage. Try to be a bit of a perfectionist if you're filming yourself. You have that luxury. And my number one piece of advice if you're trying to film yourself in a film is to try to stay as calm and zen as possible, because it gets very stressful very quickly when you're filming by yourself and things don't go quite right, which is absolutely going to happen. So try not to get too worked up, because then you're going to get sweaty and you're the main actor, and now you're going to be sweaty on camera and you're going to look all red and puffy and stressed out. You're going to be angry when you're supposed to be smiling, and it's going to be a really forced performance. I've been there. You don't want to do it. Just take a deep breath, take 5 minutes, turn off the cameras, collect yourself, and bring your best self in front of the camera. That's what you should try to do. And that's all I got for you, folks. Let's take a look at how the final short film turned out. You know what? I'm actually really happy with how that turned out, but I hope that this video inspired you to get out there and try to make your own film, even if you don't have access to a cast or crew. As you can see, it's not that hard to get out there and start gaining all the skills and experience you're gonna need to progress further in your filmmaking career. And if you wanna see how I edited this film, I actually screen recorded the entire process, and I'm cutting that down for my Patreon, where I put up new videos every week. So go check out patreon.com/standardstoryco, and you'll be able to catch that later on this month. Last week, I just did a video that's an hour and 20 minutes long, where I talk about how to raise your rates as a freelancer, going super in depth on that. So check it out. And that's it, folks. I'll see y'all next week. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.